Alright, welcome back. This is another Stormgate cast, and I am Algorithmar. This is a cast that I have once again stolen from the untapped.gg from our Blue Infernal player, Kel. Dun, 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 dun. So thank you, Kel, for putting your public replays on there so that casters like me can steal them and share them with our viewers. So, if you like Kel, go give him a shout out. Go check him out. I don't know if he streams, actually, but I have seen him on stream. So, if you see him on stream, say, hey, Kel, thank you for making your replays public. And this is going to be his opponent here today in the Red Vanguard. This is Scan. I believe this is Scan. I didn't look this up earlier, but I'm pretty sure this is Scan. Again, Scan is a Brood War Pro. I believe he actually does stream, I think, on Soup, so you can go check him out. He's also active in the Discord, where you can find him chatting, looking for practice partners, or in one of the voice channels, streaming his games. So if you want to check out his games, you can just hang out in the Discord. And if you're not in the Discord already, why not? Come join us. We're pretty cool. We like to chat about Stormgate. So what's going to happen in this game? Well, we've got Scan opening one base with a Rax, and that's a little interesting and non-standard in the new eco build where everyone's trying to go into a shrine or command post first. Like we're seeing Kel here. Actually, I don't think that was a shrine first. I think that was a vault first with a nice defensive farm here. Nice, right by the mineral line in case of run-bys, in case some Lancers try and come in. And at the moment, that's exactly what we're seeing is a Lancer has moved across the map too, in fact. And they're, what, trying to chomp some Fiends down? That seems fruitless. They do find there is a third base here. And this is kind of a more standard greedy play that I've been seeing since the patch. The new patch is just get as many bases as you can early on. You can afford them after all, which is maybe a little strange. Another Lancer shows up and says, fine, I'll take a few more pot shots on this shrine. And the reason for that is, remember, shrines, they don't heal. So you can take as many pot shots as you like and it lasts forever. Ooh, nice maneuvering, getting on top of the Hexen there, but in fact it's the Scout that goes down, and now actually the Hexen pays the price. So good micro from both players there. Kel managing to snipe the Scout, which is always a hard thing to do. But then Scan getting on top of his Hexen and getting the Hexen in payment. And that means both those initial Scout units go down. Another Fiend goes down. And I think, yeah, 4 Lancers beat two Brutes, even though Brutes can hit pretty hard. So the Lancers are going to try and take the rest of this camp. The Brutes think, hey, this might be a good time to engage then. And of course there's now debuffs on the Lancers again, and the Lancers, ooh, do they want to fight with their debuffs? I don't know if that's wise, but good maneuvering from Kel to put the weaker ones in the back. If he does fight, it's the strong ones. And how much longer those debuffs can go? 3 more seconds, okay. So he does get pushed off the health camp, and Kel is able to keep his third, although we can see that damage I said. So there's a little bit over 150 damage dealt to that shrine, and that's permanent. So that's 10% of that damage gone. So worth a little bit of the early harass. And Scan's Lancers are still trying to be active. They come and eat the cabbage. They're strong to the finish because they eat their spinach. They are the Lancer men. And they are... what are they doing? They're trying to do a run-by, it looks like. And Kel maybe is not ready for this. Here they go. One Brute's going to come back. And it's promote action here. Nice splits from Kel. So those imps are all running away. These imps are going to have split now too. Okay, some good splits. And these Lancers are forced to fight Fellhogs, and you hate to do that. So these Lancers are going to find some imps here still mining. I'm not sure if those were all Fellhogs that went down. It sounded like Fellhogs to me. There's now a Manifest Shroud Stone. So these Lancers, having got in, are now in full retreat, just trying to get out with their lives. Maybe trying to get some imp kills. Ay, 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 no. Oh, the imps, because they're not mining, they cannot, they're blocking the way, and I don't know if that was intentional by Kel, but you normally, your imps and your workers do what we call mineral walk, which is when they are mining Ethereum or Luminite, they they walk through all other units. They avoid all other collision. You can use that as a trick to escape them at times as well. But if they're not on mineral mining duty, then they provide normal collision and blocking. So you can use your workers, you can just put them on hold position on a ramp or and so on, and it can be kind of an annoying micro sync or APM sync for your opponent who has to individually target them to get them out of the way. So this is, I'm not sure if that was intentional by Kel he had stopped his units to get them not mining so that they were split, and I'm not sure if he intentionally held position them to block the Lancers there, but whatever it was, worked really well. And now Kel's moved across the map, and it looks like, do we have our Plague Axes up? Oh yes we do. So that's usually a good timing here at the beginning. We see another effigy going down, and this one will be permanent, although it gets focus fired down by Scan. He takes a lot of damage from that, and one of his exos goes down to infest damage there. A couple more are quite low. But Kel's in retreat now. In fact, Kel's going to come and take the energy camp. And there's a lot of low exos here. And Scan is not willing to just stay passively in his base, so he's going to move out here and takes the healing cabbage and then goes for the vision camp. And the energy camp was taken. I think that was mostly for income for Kel, as there's no energy using units here. And okay, a lot of extra production going up here near the health camp. Another base. That production can be helpful. Of course, if your opponent tries to take the camp, you can pop units out right away to contest it. Or when it respawns, you can just pump out some units and retake it quickly without having to bring your army out. These farms are now going to be under attack. And yeah, good micro from Scan to move in and target fire these buildings. I would take out a few more farms on my way out as well. They're very low farms, but yeah, okay. He has the sort of the range here to hit a few more shots down. I think he realizes that he can actually kind of take the army and wants to go in. There's a lot of exos there, and if they can get those free shots off while the Lancers are tanking, they can really melt a lot of those front brutes, and they did it just that. And now it's the exos that are going to try and move forward, because remember, the Lancers got really low there. And yeah, I don't know if this is as wise with the Hellborns in the back there. But I think Scan's just trying to get as much damage as he can with these units. There was a Nightfall infestation. A lot of low exos now. And with Infest out, I think he really wants to get back to some healing. We hear one of them dying to the Infest there. Now, I don't see any med techs added here. No more. Okay. There's a med station. This is what I was talking about in a few other games. I really like this play. It's a new kind of meta. But to use it, you need to run home and actually use it. You gotta go stand in its healing rays. So at the moment, it's just a defensive med station that will, of course, be useful if Scan gets pushed on again. But maybe either moving the weak units back or having a forward med station could also be advantageous for Scan here. He does have a Bob here. So this is a place where that Bob could put down a sentry post while he's creeping these camps, and you just pop one of your med techs in there, and boom, now you're healing up at the same time. These med techs are, of course, there's 3 or 4 of them here that are just trying to spray their healing rays on these low units, and now most of the units have healed up. So without even returning to that camp, preserving these units, making them just more efficient. Look at that Congo line of Exos there. And now what? It looks like Kel is going to try and take out this middle. He's on 4 bases. This production's up. He hasn't taken this health cap again. Taking out all these trees, just making an open place for his army. This looks like where he wants to position his army. Well, this base here, which has been up for a moment, is likely to be under threat here in a second if Scan moves in with his Bioforce. And it looks like he might. He's sending a couple of Scout Lancers. I like that. Sees a good number of Fell Hogs and retreats for now, or at least regroups. And Kel has not moved his position. Okay, here we go. Lancers moving in. There are Hogs here. I do like that he's moving past the Hogs. Although he is fighting the Hogs now, and Shroud Stone, they're probably just on auto attack now, but he's on... Shroud Stone is going to take out a good number of them. So I don't think this was really worth it for Scan. He does get that one Shroud Stone. But yeah, this is probably not a good trade for Scan. He didn't even use that as like a distraction to push into the center or something. So that could have been a good sacrifice if he had done something like that. You know, used it to get positioning or get damage elsewhere. But that was not what happened. So I think that was just a kind of a failed harass. Couple Atlases marching alongside this Bioforce. And Kel just building a big old nasty death ball here in the middle. Scan a little bit ahead in supply. Now adding 2 more tanks. We're up to 4 tanks. And here we go. The death ball is marching south. Kind of one disorganized death ball. There's Gaunts in the front, Gaunts in the back. That's the problem with Infernal armies, is they can often get out of order like this. But we see the Brutes just push their way to the forefront. Sadly, there are tanks there, sitting in the miasma. So the tanks do... those first tanks get taken out. The second set of tanks also, although the shield's up on this one, preserving it for a good while. Still a lot of damage going down on these Infernal units from those tanks, despite the tanks kind of getting sacrificed. But good use of miasma from Kel to push Scan back there. I think this is the new kind of Infernal meta, especially against Vanguard, which is to use miasma as a zoning tool to push your opponents back into their base and eventually force them to fight underneath it. A couple flak cannons here under fire from the Hellborns. We get a reinforce on the rear one. That gives it 200 armor, not health, which actually increases its health by effectively 200%. Now some really nice miasmas from Kel going down on the Bioforce. That force has to retreat back, but we have tier 3 units here. Tier 3 upgrades rather on the Exos, keeping them alive. Oh, but so many of them going down to friendly fire from the Atlases. Hellborn in the back getting some really nice shots, but it's almost only Hellborn left, and unfortunately when the Infernal army gets down to just Hellborn, their DPS is too low. The splash is beautiful, but they just fire so slowly that it's hard to get a good pacing. Although at the moment here, with some reinforcements showing up, the Hellborn are able to attack without taking a lot of fire themselves, other than from those long-range Atlases. But it looks like this may have been Scan's victory. He lost the base. I don't know, do you count that as a hold? When you kind of lost all the buildings you were defending, even though you pushed the army back? And the army's coming back for more, so this needs to be cancelled. It does get cancelled. Okay, so good Good response time from Scan. Scan's going to put down the tanks again. There's going to be a miasma that goes right down on top of the miasma. Pretty much is a hard counter to sieged up tanks. But a lot of Hellborn went down. And the miasmas, they only last 5 seconds, which only does a maximum of 40% damage. So a single miasma is not going to kill the Exos. The tanks. They're not going to kill anything, technically. But the tanks, some of the tanks did go down, but more tanks. There's a lot of tank production coming out of Scan here. And he's been able to maintain a very strong force here at this base. And now this base is going to go down again. And that's with like 12 different Bobs building it. This battle is just an ongoing battle. It takes minor little breathers here before going at it all over again. And again, I can't believe how resilient this Vanguard army has been. At all times, I'm seeing them so low on life. But time and time again, they push Kel back. I wonder what it is that Kel needs in this army more of. Maybe more Hexen for the Miasma, since that is sort of the broken thing right now that folks are using a lot in this matchup. Okay, finally we see them moving back to this med station. That's that beautiful healing raise. Look at all those units healing up in unison. Couple promotes going down on Atlases. And here we are at the Vision Camp. This army from Kel. There's all those Hexens I'm talking about. That's what I thought he might need. So maybe we'll be able to get the finishing blow here. Tanks positioned in the Vision Camp. I kind of like that. But these units are saying, fine, we're going to go to your third base. Meanwhile, Scan's pushing into the middle. There's a Wraithstone here. It gets taken out. And this little Bioforce is actually going to be flanked by Kel's Weaver and Hellborn army here. So many miasmas going down here. But a lot of Kel's forces are kind of split, whereas we see Scan trying to micro his units a little bit more to preserve them. Unfortunately, yeah, I think Kel's army kind of got split into a bunch of different forces. Here are a lot of it. But that middle base got taken out. The Exos with a lot of extra damage there to structures, or at least heavy structures. They take out that shrine. Now they're all going to go down, it looks like. This is a big Gaunt force. There's no fighting this. The Scan, has just left those units to fight and die. More tanks here. Tanks and medtechs. Interesting choice. One lash. Couple more lashes going down. Shields up on one of the tanks. Miasma's going down, but there are nanoswarms to kind of counter them. I wonder if that's a hard counter or not. Not sure what the healing rate of the nanoswarm is. Because the infest is percent damage, it might depend on what units you cast. I'm not sure. So it's a nice to see counters like that already being worked out by the Vanguard players. And what's Scan doing here? Oh, tanking with the tank. The tank's on nanoswarm, and look, it's kind of out healing the DPS from these, what were they? It's hard to tell now. Level 2, level 3 energy camp. And now there's 5 tanks here. Nanoswarms again going down. Keep them alive. Maybe the tanks are going to be the heroes here. If Kel tries to move close now, he gets hit by 4 or 5 tank blasts. And that's probably enough to one-shot a lot of units. And ooh, good Hellborn blast with the Molten Touch there. And we're starting to see a little bit of staggering as these tanks get leapfrogged forward. And what are we going to see from Kel here as an answer? I don't know. I think he needs a dragon. A dragon would be helpful. We haven't been seeing a lot of anti-air, and that would force maybe some Hornets or something else. Something that maybe these Hellborn might be good at. I'm not sure. These are getting some good tank blasts on the Therium miners here. And now this force, yeah, here comes the leapfrog. Oh, this is the chance. A Lash gets one of the tanks. But there are tanks behind the trees here, which are kind of good positioning. Miasma was tried to go down, but it looks like maybe the Hexen was taken out before it could. I didn't know that even that worked. The Hellborn's still in the back trying to get traction, but it looks like Scan's force is gaining in strength, and in fact he has a huge supply leak now, having denied this middle base twice. He is pulling back. Look how many tanks he's got. What's that? 3, 6, 8. Oh geez, that's going to be a GG out of Kel, and what a good game from Scan.